Often in the golfing world, we feel like the more money you spend on your clubs, the better you are likely to play. In today's video, we're going to put that to the test because we have one of the most expensive golf clubs money can buy. If you don't know about this, you will get to know in this video, and it's very, very interesting. It's actually really cool as well. We also have a slightly more budget orientated club, and once I take these head covers off, you'll see a lot of similarities between these clubs. You'll see a lot of differences between these clubs, and if I have a look at the price differences on screen now, you may well wonder what on earth is going on in the world. Hi everyone, my name is James Robinson and welcome back to this YouTube channel. Guys, before we get started, make sure you do hit that subscribe button if you want to see more daily golf related videos. We're going to kick things off with this. So this is a Circle T Scotty Cameron putter, and it's a real one. So I actually got conned on eBay, didn't I, Chris?
You did.
It wasn't one of my finer moments, but this one is real. It is of course off the Tour van from the DP World Tour. It's actually a friend of ours, or a friend of Chris's, who you kind of work with a little bit. He's lent it you, and you've lent it me. And Chris, you've done a little bit of work with him as well, so you work with him with his putting. When you do spend the amount of money that you are going to do with a club like this, if you are an everyday golfer, if you're an average Joe, you will have to go and buy one of these from eBay or from even the Scotty Cameron store for the Circle T. Even the head cover itself would set you back £300 to £400. So I'm going to place that down very nice and gently now next to a putter, which is going to cost you half of that for the full milled putter with a KBS CT shaft and a jumbo grip on there. But you do get a couple of benefits with a really expensive putter. I'm not sure I would be spending this amount of money on a putter, but certainly it does feel lovely and soft. You can see we're getting a really nice roll on there. For the price, I think I'd probably wanting to behold pretty much all of those. But when we do start to, it might not be getting this back. It might just be
Cracking roll
in
again.
there. Very, very nice roll, and it feels lovely and soft. So when you do think of a putter, I quite like a putter with an insert in it. A lot of people like them with a milled face. This, of course, is a CNC milled face, which we'll discuss on the more budget option in just a second. But it's almost a little bit of a fashion statement, isn't it? It's almost a little bit of a look what I've got in the bag. And there's nothing wrong with that. If you are a big Titleist fan, if you're a big Scotty Cameron fan, then certainly there will be people who want these clubs. I remember when I was a junior, it was like the thing to have. And certainly, if you can put a roll on them like that, I don't know. I saw that going very differently in my head. I'm going to now put the head, in fact, I'll not. I will now show you the more budget options. So this is a putter from the guys at 11 Golf, and it's going to set you back £169. So this is fully CNC milled from a block of 1020 carbon steel. So a very similar design to the Scotty Cameron, as you can see. So very similar looking. The milling isn't quite as deep on the 11, but then for that money, you could buy, quick maths, how many could you buy, Chris, for £3 grand?
20.
Is that, could you?
Yeah.
I mean, actually you'd want 20, but you do get in this, actually. I prefer the look of this down at the ball. So it's obviously that standard answer shape, and we do have that big, thicker sight line right in the back edge. So I'm a big fan of that. For me, that's just a little bit easier to line up. And we, of course, have the KBS CT putter shaft in there as well, so a little bit more stability throughout.
Square edges on that one.
Yeah,
as well.
I don't mind that as a design, actually. I quite like it. So, feel-wise, how does it feel compared? So what we've found out here is I'm just a machine, realistically, from this putt, but I do really like how that kind of swings a little bit. That one was a little bit low on pace, but I'm a big fan of this Jumbo Max grip as well. So this comes standard with this putter, and I think it's actually, it looks really premium when you do look at it. So I believe the head covers are going to be slightly different than the standard black one we've got here, but I like just how simple looking it is. Some of the best looking putters in the world are just built on their simplicity, and I think that's a nice little logo as well. I'm pleased it's just got the kind of Circle E there as opposed to the Circle T. Do you get it? Do you get it? I wonder if that's how it's gone, but certainly if you're in the market for a lovely milled answer style putter, this could certainly be one of them. I'd go as far as saying this almost feels a little bit softer than the Circle T. You can see there that I haven't exactly raced those to the hole. They're both okay for distance and they're both okay for lines, but when we start to talk about tour averages from here, there's only one man that we want to talk to.
So James, on the first one again, what would we say? That's around about a 10-foot putt.
Maybe 10 to 12, yeah, I'd go
Yeah.
with.
So again, tour average from there is going to be 1 in 3. We know James, with the Circle T, did knock all 3 in, so it'd be well above the tour averages there. And again, with this, he's still got 1 in 3, so it's performing on regards to tour standards just as good. Obviously, James had the line a little bit more with that one. Is that the putter, or is that just the putts that James obviously put on there? That's what you've got to think for the money difference. Obviously, is £3,000 going to make you whole every putt for James so far?
You see, for me,
Yes.
if I was going to buy one, you see, for me, if I was going to buy one of these, I think it would just be to go in the office or even to go on the wall or something like that. I do appreciate what it is, but I don't think I'd be wanting to kind of spend that amount of money realistically.
It does feel good off the
I'm
face
amazed how
there.
good that feels for the price, you know.
Feels great, obviously a lot lighter, and this is where obviously we talk about customization. That is for obviously a guy that I do teach, Jonathan Thompson, the tallest tour player at 6'10". So again, it's a lot longer. This is 37.5 inches, which you normally don't see as a stock standard.
No, but you could get that because you just order it in the
Yeah,
kind of specs
and you
want.
can order it that way. Again, a heavier shaft there to counter out the head. So this does feel a lot lighter, but you see straight away there, actually rolled it pretty well. Again, good pace there. Does feel nice and soft off there. For me, I'm thinking in my head of comparing this maybe not to that, because how many people are going to have one of those? That's less than a 1%, obviously, of people having those putters. But if this was compared to a standard Scotty Cameron,
Yeah, it's a good shout.
certainly feels just as good, I would say. And that was a toe strike, that one. So done pretty well. 2 out of 3 ain't bad. But obviously, as we know, again, a little bit squarer on this one. But for me, that's not a bad thing. And what I mean by that is, if James shows there, a little bit thinner, obviously, on the top, but it's these edges here. So obviously, on the corner of those, we can see it's rounded here on the Scottish Cameron. You can get those with square edges. But for me, obviously, that 11 putter there might help you actually align a little bit better than that. So different options there, and obviously it all depends on tour averages. You see there, we've held a few putts with it. You've got to have confidence in your putter. Obviously you've got to be able to stand over that and think, well, I know how it's going to feel, how it's going to come off. And the main thing for me with that putter, £169 compared to this, is how would it do on pace? Because from pace, this is where we see your everyday golfer struggle. So tour average for 3 putting is outside of 33 feet. So this is definitely outside of 33 feet. This is where you are expected to 3-putt from. So even a tour player from this distance is going to 3-putt more than he's going to 2-putt. You might say the greens are harder. Fantastic greens here at Woolley Park. And this is where you want to get a putter that works well for you. We know as everyday golfers, we're not always going to hit it extremely close, so we need to be good from this range. If we can 2-putt more and get rid of 3 putts, again, comment below how many 3 putts did you have in your last round. If we can get rid of a couple of those, we can get your scores down. So you might be thinking again there, not great putts, but we'll get up there and we'll tell you obviously how close you should be hitting it from here shortly. So I'm going to work on the read a bit. Not bad there. So if we look at it, everybody says never up, never in. We want to be 10% away from the hole. That is your tour average from that distance. So I would say I'm around about 35 feet away there. So we'll be looking at 3.5 feet. So again, I would say that's more 4 feet. So I'm just outside tour average with one. The other 2 there, I would say, are clearly in that distance. So 3 feet away there, and that one's a little bit closer. So very interesting now to test that against Scotty Cameron, and James is going to do that. Show you how close he can get it.
And you see, guys, it's quite interesting because we have seen a big influx in shaft technology in putters over the last few years, haven't we? We've seen the Stroke Lab shafts with Odyssey. We've seen, obviously, the KBS shaft that's in the 11 putter. And this, I believe, is a stability shaft as well, but that's off the Tour Van. So that's just a nice steel shaft, isn't it, Chris?
Yeah.
That jig was fitted to. So I need to get within 3.5 feet. And this is where, for me, if you are going to spend this amount of money, would you be better off spending less money, going for lessons, maybe even using that money for green fees to play some spectacular courses, to go on some amazing trips with your friends or family? Because I feel like you're better off making memories, especially if golf's your hobby and it's not necessarily your job. That one came out the toe, that was terrible. And this is the thing, when we talk about forgiveness, you're not generally going to get too much forgiveness with any blade style putter. But as long as it does suit your stroke, you're generally going to be okay. I think I've done the same as you, Chris. I think I've left that last one just outside tour average, unfortunately. So guys, let us know, which putter would you get? Would you go for the £3,000 Circle T Scotty Cameron putter, or would you go for, you impressed with that, were you?
I was impressed.
Or would you go for the £169 11 putter together with the KBS shaft, the jumbo grip, and a saving of £2,831?
Quick maths.
Not that quick.